Perfect.
I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from Nairclaw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your hearts.
Hi everyone, welcome to episode 4 of the Stream Podcast. This is Cyrus Roban and Ali Sina. I'm the Director of Partnerships here at Forkaya, and Ali Sina is the CEO. Today we're going to go over the naming of Forkaya. We missed that last week. We're going to go over some weekly wins. We're going to go over our show, which consists of popular news articles that we thought were interesting from the Wall Street Journal and Fast Company. This week we're only going over Wall Street Journal articles that we've collected through the week. And then we're going to go over some of the kind of technicalities here when it comes to how you should think as a founder. We'll go over that a little bit later. Let's get the show started. So at that, Ali, how's it going?
What's up? Good. Awesome.
So we didn't speak about the naming of Forkaya last week. Do you want to go over how you came up with the name and what it means?
For sure. Fork in computer science is just making a copy of a repository, which is cool because we believe in pivoting. So the way we look at it, like forking off an idea is like a pivot. And also, it's also like it gives you a starting ground to start your own idea. And we like that. We like forking off artificial intelligence ideas. That's why the Fork AI is in there. So something that has like an artificial intelligence element that can assist humans in, the product that we're building there. But ultimately, the more important reason it's called Forkaya is because I have a 3.5-year-old daughter. She's actually going to be 4. Her name is Kaya, and it's for Kaya.
Oh.
And the way, because I just, remember we talked about like what I wanted to do with my life. Like, this was a big part of what I wanted to leave behind because of the whole like youth, planet, future. I really do think, and she's young, she's the new generation. I think we have to leave a cleaner, healthy planet. There is no plan B. Planet B, Mars sucks, we have to leave a healthy planet, and I think the younger generation will do that, and they'll ultimately help create a better future, more equality and stuff. So it's for Kaya, but you fork off a lot of AI ideas. So.
Well, I mean, I like both those. I think in general in the AI space, you have a lot of personalization that's starting to happen in the technology sector. Is every app can be for you individually now, which is
localization of like exactly we talked about. Brick and mortar, right? We said if that's gone, then we're building all these brick and mortar stores online, which means there's an app for you for sure.
Yeah, I mean everything, right? Like you have.
There'll be users. There'll be a lifestyle business. Maybe not a unicorn, but it'll be a lifestyle business. You never have to work for anybody, and you have your own app, and it makes you a couple $100,000 a year, maybe a few million.
And your piece of technology.
I'm an expert at lifestyle businesses. If you're interested in joining us.
Yeah. Well, we'll move there in terms of the wins of the week, so we can kind of elaborate on what we're thinking about here.
The future.
Yeah, at that. So let's say what are the wins of the week here at Forkaya?
Well, we like to start with like the companies that are the most like further along. InSolar just has a partnership with Earth Guardians, so we just got that deal done along the same lines of youth, planet, future.
That's awesome.
They're young activists. They were the ones that actually sued the Obama. They sued the United States government for giving the younger generation a crappy planet.
Really?
Yeah, seriously. And like they're awesome. They're very, very motivated. So we got that deal done, and we're seeing a lot of interest in. We're at a fork at like Forkaya with InSolar, because what we're seeing is like SaaS businesses are worth 10x, and we've built a tool to help make the planet greener, right? Like to get people to go solar. So we're saying like, okay, we built this tool, but it's kind of slow. We're not getting as many sales as we want because you have to be kind of like an expert in the geographic location of where you want to enter the market. But what we're seeing is like people that are already selling this product could really use the tool. Do we want to change it into a SaaS model and be powered by InSolar? I don't care. We don't have like the hubris of like InSolar, we're the company. We're very pivotable. You know, if we see that we can give this tool to the people already making a difference in the front line, selling this stuff, and they can use the InSolar engine proposal tool, backend, all of that stuff to be able to close these deals faster. That might be, and it values our company more, and we have repeat paying customers because the installers are using it. You know, like it's a you know, we're at the reason I'm bringing this up because we have investor interest in that area. They're saying, look, and it's interesting because it kind of changes the direction of what I thought the company would be, but it could be a shortcut to a faster resolve for everybody, right?
Well, it would allow organic scalability.
Full blown, because instead of us making $3,000 a transaction and going and doing all that stuff and trying to get the transactions, we can just say, hey, $9 a month, use the $9 a month per user. We'll set you up. If whether you're an independent sales organization, ISO, you're an independent sales rep, and you're shooting your deals out, brokering them out, now you have the platform. Or you're in solar company, moms and pop solar company that's falling behind to technology-driven companies in this space, but you're a great installer, right? Now you can have the tool to be able to stay in business. You don't have to worry about consolidation in this business. If we democratize our proprietary technology to other companies to use, you don't have to worry about big companies eating up the other ones now, because the other ones get to stay alive or at least extend their lifeline in a business that I've seen. You know, I've seen this thing with mortgages. I've seen this thing with venture capital business, 30x. You know, every company wants like 30 times returns to pay all the bills. Like,
I mean, yeah, you have to in some sense. You know, you can't think small because you can't grow small. You know,
I've never been a person that thinks small, even though since birth I feel like everybody's kind of, with the exception of a few very important people in my life, they want you to think small. You know, I don't want to get into like a zeitgeist type thing, but I feel like society's kind of built for you not to make too many big moves.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about it last week, right?
Our purpose here.
When you say, "Oh, I have such a hard time," people will sit down with you and spend the time to be like, "Oh yeah, I relate. I've had a hard time doing this and that too." But if you're saying, you know, I'm making $3 million a year, they'll say, you know, be humble. Don't be talking about that kind of stuff. You know?
Just do.
Yeah.
Just do. Stay like figure. You know, that's why we teach the BAM philosophies. Like, find your passion, find kind of like the area that you see you can make a difference. Stay there, and you'll become Tesla.
Yeah.
It may take forever, but you'll break revenue. You know, so like, and we'll get into.
Well, let's talk a little bit about before we jump into the articles. Let's talk a little bit more about how the academy is starting to shift from being kind of
do it yourself.
Yeah, do it yourself to a more
let us do it for you.
Yeah, Forkaya is basically is helping out all the new founding members coming in and is putting them in kind of a roller coaster ride.
Well, what we're seeing is a lot of goodwill, a lot of smart people, great energy, and like amazing. Everybody is aligned with the mission and vision, and people have their own specific ideas and things they want to accomplish. And even though the academy teaches it and the combine you can practice, it's still not optimized. So a big thing we're doing here is kind of slowing down. We're breaking something that isn't broken to make sure that we don't ever have to fix it by incorporating a embedded interactive academy. So when you come into our ecosystem, our idea lab, our agency, our talent agents, you don't have to worry anymore. When you enter into our company, we'll buckle you in and you just follow week 1, chapter 1, introduction. Chapter 2, it's a MOOC, 7-minute video with a couple quizzes and a couple questions and a relatable real life case study we have in Solar. We can talk about, we're recording the MOOCs right now, but the introduction is very, hey, the glamour of startup life is not what you think it is. It's a lot more grimy, actually. It's a lot more extending accounts receivable. Like it's very testing. It's like Elon Musk said that running a startup is like chewing glass and staring into the abyss. If you don't like what you do, it could be like that. Even if you like what you do, because of the game and the way it's built, the gravity's too strong. So that's why CEOs get pushed out of their own dreams, their own companies, their own visions, because now you got shareholders. He holds a little bit of this, he holds a little bit of that, he holds a little bit of, you go public. Now you have a bunch of bosses now. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, look at Apple, a lot of times that kills the company. So a lot of these companies that are doing this, musical chairs with CEOs and stuff, they need to be very careful, because the founder is the one with the mission, with the vision, with the blood. It's in the DNA. It's very hard to do blood transfusion on the new CEO to make sure they care about this thing as much as the inception of an idea.
And then once they get through the academy, they're unleashed. They're able to.
As they do the academy, we're going to open up recommendation letter, pipelines to other jobs that they may like, that they may never have had at Facebook, Snapchat, wherever you want to work. So we're making sure that those relationships are in place. So by the time the user has gone through learning, has gone through preparing to become an entrepreneurial athlete through BAM, then they actually become an entrepreneur, learn entrepreneurship through the academy, they practice it through the combine, and they graduate and sign their deal, whether it's equity, money, another company, multiple different offers from other companies. Maybe it's not their thing to go get a job. That's what we already have the back end, so we can hook them up. So it's going to be a lot more strap in, and you just swipe and just go through the motions, and it'll check off.
Sure. And
then next thing you know, you have your business. You're done. Whether the business is a lifestyle business and you have your Cyrus the consulting company or your educational company.
Sure.
I'm going to help you find your passion, and then build around that. So in 6 years, when shit really hits the fan, it gets really tough. Creditors, everybody's calling, it's not working. The market's not really feeling your product. That's ultimately what it comes down to, right? You've got to make something people feel.
Well, you
a
also
podcast somebody likes, a product somebody likes using, they come back to. Ultimately, a movie, a music song that somebody is listening to, and that's just like a movie. That's what this life is about. We wanted to build something that gives people something that they feel they can do. The impossible is possible. All the ideas that I'm interested in are things that people said, it feels me that's impossible. That wouldn't work. Look at Solar. That would never work. You got to do a Solar over the phone. You got to sell it over the phone. You got to go see them. You got to get the bills. You got to do it over online. It's not a car where you say 4-wheel drive. It's 1,000 wheels on that roof. So
people didn't think you could sell cars online either until the car volume has been killed in the game. You buy a car in 15 minutes.
Exactly. The deal is done. You go and check the car. You go shake hands. Save time, save money. The human experience is really valuable.
Yeah.
I don't want to waste my time. That's why, a big part of what my goal is to make sure people understand what they want, their own dreams, to chase their own dream, not to chase. I want to take 12 years plus 4 college. Like I want to take all those years of go into this box, go into this box, go into this box, and just like.
Well, I think we talked about it
Samurai
earlier
sword,
today
all
too,
those
right?
things.
We said if you are able to hedge your bets and not, you're going to come out of the academy and you have worked on 4 or 5 different companies, 2 or 3 of them you have equity in, and you have job offerings, and you have a letter of recommendation if you want to go get further education. You have everything you need for
You have
success,
everything you
know?
need, and then you can go get your career
Yeah,
also.
or you
like,
can-
and it was a fantastic hedge. Or you're like, damn, I kind of like doing 3-4 different things, because adding these 3-4 up, and then all the flexibility and my own timeness and on my own time wherever I am from Hawaii, I could be doing this. Like all of those things equal more than something that's ranked number 13 anyway, income. Like starting salary. It's right 13, dude. Flexibility, ability to learn. So the initial, like this, again, this is a sketch. 1 year, it was a sketch. We just sketched out this thing for Kaya, all these layers. We're going to have this, we're going to have that, we're going to have this room, we're going to have 1,200 lab rooms. Then now we're shrinking and we're making it simpler. And then I've been spending most of my time talking to experts about how to do the academy. What's the psychological component of like how short should a video be? That's the most pungent component. I want to put words, the least amount of words and the least amount of time in order to communicate a point so it resonates and it's like uploads into your brain. That's the hard part. Like we have the content and then we'll record teaching it, but like organizing that so we don't have to. So we know that in 26 minutes you could become a entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Maybe not that fast, but like I'll have a 26-minute version for sure. I want people to bullet point and then go into the bullet points and then become more.
Sure. I mean, just understanding the framework, right? And then you're able to expand through, actual.
The roller coaster will take them and stop them, and then they get to actually tour while they're doing the startup. It's not like you learn about it theoretical. It's like learn about it and then click and go do it.
Yeah.
Click, and then this is exactly what you follow. That way,
with the onboarding.
unintentionally, you built your first business.
Yeah.
And then you can fork into other elements. In solar pricing, solar online could be used across water heat. Like, it's a bunch of different verticals that it could be used for.
But we have like so many users that we're able to work with experts to be able to give us that analytic profile for what an academy would be like. But through the mentorship program, we've also been able to establish what the users actually want. They want someone to say, this is where you start. And then when you're going into a different company in Fort Kaya, there's an onboarding process. And that onboarding process is what has been this kind of, the next step for the academy.
The revelation.
Right?
That onboarding process gave us the revelation that like, man, there is really no buffer between college and the first job. I want to bend over, let all these students spring off my back into their first job. I don't care if they work for me or not. I want them to work for me. I want them to want to work for me.
Yeah.
Or else use me. Life is short, man. Go have fun. Use
We
your
have
experience.
options. Yeah, we're giving options.
Use your
to people,
options. I just see the world. I see it differently. I see all of this as like the 9 to 5 and you have a boss and you got to abide by certain things. All of these things are so disrespectful. They're so backwards. Join our company. It's like, no, I want to join. I want to join a piece of you, just a little piece of you. I want to join you. You're such a dope entity. You're so awesome. That's why we ask 1,000 questions before we hire people. Not like, hey, what is your skill set? It's like, what do you want to do with your life? What would your ideal job be? If you could be a superhero, who would you be? Like, I haven't put that in there, but I would love to put because I want to get insight. I want to understand the ultimate scenario, because I can build that. I have the imagination.
I mean, it's all about creating an identity, right? It's saying, if I'm going to be spending this much time doing something, I want it to be something that I'm proud of, right?
I'm proud of, it's mine forever.
Right.
I'm not for rent, which is what people are doing. You're not going to have a full-time job. People are getting jobs there. It's 12-month contracts.
Okay. I mean, we can go on for a long time on this, and we'll save them for future podcasts. But let's get down to our weekly show. That took a little bit longer than we expected.
But we're like,
but
I'll tell you
yeah.
that the BAM designing clothes, hoodies, like the hoodies that have like built-in Bluetooth speakers and stuff like that. Those, I enjoy doing that. I really, really enjoy doing that. We have new manufacturing partners that have all of that stuff available for us for BAM. The next generation of BAM product is coming out real quick. Yeah. Playbook, we're very close to having an automated coach, like an automated football coach, like that'll watch Aaron Rodgers' previous play and then spit out the defense against that. Like, so there's some stuff, and it's coming.
I really like the sports analogy that you got going. It gives people, it's also another form
I love
of identity.
Sports, man, because like women, men, kid, everybody can associate with like, everybody can associate with the. Now we're going to talk about the weekly show about other companies that we have zero control over.
Yeah, I mean, well, these were what we thought were interesting topics of the week. So we've been doing some archiving. One was fairly recent. It's over here. So Tesla delivered a surprising profit. So this comes to a shock for some people, but not for people that believe in personality and investing in a person, right? People believe in Elon Musk, and those people that bought Tesla shares when it kept fluctuating in and out, it really showed that if with determination you can make something that seemed impossible possible. I mean, for example, the Model 3 is one of the best-selling cars in our nation right now.
Yeah, because you iterate the first version, the second version. By the time the third version of it comes out, it's going to be awesome because he's hooked such a awesome feedback machine into his engine that like the users love it. They love it. That's why the third version is it's like exactly what they had envisioned in their mind it would be like. So the product got better. He stayed in his lane. He had enough funding to be able to sustain longevity in the business. You don't time the market. You spend time in the market. And he did, and now it's profitable.
Yeah, I mean, that was a big shock. And they have room to grow. I mean, the Model S and Model X dropped 37%, but they say the company is ready to deliver up to 400,000.
Those numbers all seem so low to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's room to grow. You just know, I think I had a hint that Tesla was going to start turning around when I saw very cheap people buying Teslas, because that means that they found the cost, the value in the car, right? They said, I could save long term by actually just buying Tesla because no more gas, no more oil change, no more, this and that. The brakes, regenerative brakes. There's a lot of pluses to the car. So
the car's dope. I mean, drives like fast. The torque on it is insane. It's a great product.
Yeah, good product.
It's a phone you can drive.
It is a phone you can drive. I think we also had something else on this page. Okay, sorry for all the crinkling sounds on the mic. So one thing I thought was pretty cool is Facebook is standing firm on their plans for Libra, which is their cryptocurrency. It takes some serious courage to move out a cryptocurrency to help. The majority of Facebook's users are not American, and you have a worldwide issue with banking and money transfer. And Facebook says, we have, I think it's like over 1.5 billion users. How can we leverage our user base and make it easier for them to transfer money. I think it's one of the good things that Facebook is doing, right?
Platform businesses, dude. Why would I want to go through a third party, like another third party, if I'm already doing business with you? You have a skill, I have a skill. We just traded, we bartered it off. Why go put my money, get a thing? Like, it doesn't. All those extra steps don't make sense. The banking system is broken. The banking system itself is completely broken because I go stand in a bank and then there's like few tellers and every transaction is taking like 10 minutes now. It doesn't make, and they're like, all these places, why brick and mortar is dead is because they're like, hey, you can do it online. They'll actually give you $50 coupon. Like, hey, you can get this cheaper online. The person inside the brick and mortar, you can do it online. Hey, you have our app? Come with me this way. Sit down. Like, hey, automated machine. It's like obsolete. They're just, Facebook's idea to give that, like, to make that accessible to their users is just it's like them saying, who do we have? What do they need? Let's create it. It's going to be in place. I always thought that crypto, Rice Capital Holdings, all that stuff, I believe in it. I believe in exchanging coins. If it's just as good as getting you that coffee, then what difference does it make to you?
Well, I mean, it's the applicable use for it currently. And it gives Facebook the opportunity and other companies the opportunity to partner with Facebook so that they're basically forcing the U.S. government to create a regulation for this new emerging technology, which is a great thing for American businesses because it's saying, we're pushing forward in innovation. And we're going to essentially, based on its current use of, whatever currency exchange and allowing, more people the ability to transfer money securely. But there's plenty of other uses for crypto. When it comes to, like we were just talking about the health sector, verifying that this procedure works via 10 doctors, and then that's on the ledger, and then
that's the genius of it is like everybody has that information at the same time in order to make that, like, you have you have like your proxy. All of us have our proxy and know what everybody has already voted. Like, it's kind of like that. Like, it gives that distribution on a transparent ledger a little bit of like, it's it's that risky. Like, is it risky? Is it, can it get stolen? Is it, and just like everything else at the beginning, is it risky to jump in somebody's car? Is it risky to live in somebody's house? Like, all these things, the risk will eliminate with time. We just don't have enough time. We haven't had enough time for any of these things. I don't know why we're always running to jump to a conclusion on every single innovative thing or innovative idea. GPS works, GPS doesn't work. Facebook is one of those companies that actually is a real company. It's not one of these overvalued tech companies. It's a real company. It really made money. It's an app, and then it grew, and then it knows how to sell, and it makes money. Yeah. Like Facebook, Google, YouTube, these guys make money. They're conglomerate corporations. They're what Snap wants to be.
Well, it's so big that it was able to take a stance and then allowed Visa and MasterCard to also take a stance by partnering with them. And there's a number of other companies.
Yeah, everybody already talked about it before they went into it. It's not like we're going to take it. It's like, hey, Mark, you're going to, we're going to do it.
Yeah. And they have 150 companies that are partnering with them. So I think that's a kind of pretty big deal that we should keep our eyes out on because it can really change the way our companies are able to innovate, which is, like I said, a pretty big deal for American innovation. Let's talk about, last week we talked about WeWork CEO stepping down. Now we have two other CEOs stepping down, one at Nike and one at Under Armour for two different reasons. I think Nike CEO Mark Parker is around 64 years old. And he essentially wants to get
new blood.
Yeah. He's going to be on the board. He just wants to basically, it's like a training program for the new CEO. He's going to, work with them side by side and ensure that, Nike's procedures are carrying his vision.
Brand is like, I love their brand. I think of the product. I think of my own childhood. I think of Nike. You know what I mean? Like, it was such a. It's just so big. It's just so big, and you think it's still big, right? You still think it's like this massive, massive, massive company, but it's not a tech company.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They need to start incorporating technology into their shoes. Like, I don't know why none of these companies are doing wearable tech.
They tried, Nike Plus, those things. I don't know what you're
Creativity, man. They need more
thinking.
imagination.
They need Bluetooth headphones.
They are in the, like, I just, I think they're just recycling the same stuff. The brand itself is so powerful, though. Control, right? They just control so many people because they constantly run their ads and have so many athletes and stuff wearing their stuff that, like, you think it's the biggest freaking corporation in the world.
It's true. They've done a great job with branding.
Branding is insane. The swoosh,
Yeah.
Nike. Like, that's what you aspire for. To be on a branding side, but with the goodwill of like a company that doesn't take advantage of their employees. More transparency, more honesty, and gives back more to the world. It's taken so much, and I just think there's more room to give back. There's a lot more room to give back in multiple facets of life. A lot of people are struggling. Nike isn't. There could be something to be said for that.
Yeah, I guess so. And then in terms of the Under Armour CEO, he is getting ousted for different. I think they're pushing him out. At one point, Under Armour shares were at $40 a share. Now they're hovering around $20
And then
a
it'll
share.
go back up.
So I think they're pushing.
BS.
Yeah, I think they're pushing him out. I kind of like what he did with Baltimore area. He did a whole revitalization, and he put his headquarters there in Maryland. I think. Right on the. Right
I never hear about like the good stuff.
Right,
You know what I
along the
mean? As soon
harbor.
as somebody says something, they have to come. They apologize. This is the age of like, I'm sorry. I apologize. I'm removing myself. Like,
But he has done some funny things.
what?
I think they were allowing their employees to write off strip clubs as business expenses. So that's in this age, you just can't do these
Public company.
things. In general, you just can't do these things. I feel bad for their accounting department.
Like the eighth that like the debit card is like, gentlemen, sir. Like,
$900 business
Champagne.
write-off. Anyway,
Spending, executive
so we'll see what
spending.
happens. It's at $20. Let's see if him stepping down actually, help. That's
all
the thing
of
about
this
being a public
stuff,
company.
it's like a popular, like, it's like they're treating it like a person. Like, he went to the strip club. It's a company.
Yeah.
They make
Shoes
whatever
and
Under Armour
clothes,
clothes,
yeah.
like
Shoes and
workout clothes. I don't know. Everybody makes the same stuff, but they've done a great job, playing the game of. You know what it is? When people were Under Armour came because nobody was caring about actually what these football undershirts people were wearing in the NFL was weighing them down. Nobody sat there to think. He sat there and he was like, his friends, he was like, Jesus, I'm drenched.
It was the coolest thing. When we were in high school playing football, we all had like super like long sleeve.
Yeah, when it
match
first
with our
came out, it was
uniforms,
sick
yeah.
because you're like, you're the closest it gets to like a hominoid. You're like, what's
Yeah,
up?
like
You're
in
half
freshman
human.
year football, I feel like I was in the NFL with Under Armour.
Yeah, you're like fresh. All of a sudden, you have like a fanny pack for no reason. You know what I mean?
I don't know what you do on the weekends. You're just rocking Under Armour like tight sleeves with the fanny pack.
Bam clothing, baby. I'm trying to turn myself into like the most ultra performance human. You know what I mean? And technology needs to be
You have
embedded
like a water
into the
pack on your
thread.
back.
Yeah. Like,
That's funny. All right, so let's see what happens. I think last thing to talk about CEOs, just to follow up with last week's article with WeWork. Life goes on. They lost $40 billion in value the last few months with all this controversy around the CEO, and his
40 billion for a CEO. Does that make any sense to you? Yeah, the business model was messed up. Like, let's talk about the VCs that partook in valuating this company constantly because that's the moral hazard.
Yeah.
I saw this with mortgages. It's happening again in venture capital. Like,
But I think it does show a little bit of, I want to say, good fortune for
WeWork?
The stock market in general. This is not the age of,
Being
the
shady.
internet boom anymore. They're not just gonna
like fast corrections, but it's also like, what is this volatility? 40 billion overnight? Like,
Yeah, I mean it's because you have different players. Like they're back. They're
SoftBank.
able. Yeah, right. We just
how much was
soft-
SoftBank supposed to give them, and how much did they end up giving them?
I just know that they just gave them $8 more billion.
So they don't lose their investment. Like,
Well, they're not trying to lose it because they're still hoping for them to go public and everything to work out okay once everything settles down.
it
which
could
probably will.
because
Yeah.
it could because you have options. You're already in a very interesting position in life, in the financial market, with all the contracts that you've already signed, with all your investors. There is room if they've stayed agile, which I think that's what it was teaching people to stretch, like teaching the company to stay agile through Kabbalah and stuff. It's like they may pull it off, but if he's not involved, and they bring somebody conservative, like traditional business value style, like our boy at Google, that may be not a good move. No. The same
But
mind
you
that
never
brought
know.
you those ideas and did everything, you guys kicked them out, like Travis. That doesn't mean the mind doesn't stop there. You're investing in the jockey. The horse is great, but the jockey knows how to do this thing. He'll do it again. Like, you don't just have one company and then try to build features and try to hope that you can grab market share, then build a big wall around it so people don't try to come in on your thing. And that's not good for the overall globalized market. And that's the game that's being played right now until people figure out how to work differently.
Well, let's hope some of the the guru stuff worked, and somebody at his company is just as obsessed as he was, and is able to to take that role on. And
that's what these guys do.
I mean, that worked at Microsoft, right? The guy,
Ballmer.
the current CEO of Microsoft was working on cloud before anybody was worrying about cloud at Microsoft. He became CEO. And now Microsoft stock is going off it's booming. Bill Gates is the richest person in the world again, because
really,
because he owns 1% of the stock, and he just took over Bezos. So it all depends on the
validation.
people.
Like, they don't need any more validation. If they're really doing a race, that's idiotic. Bill Gates doesn't care. He's making nuclear toilets.
I mean, that's interesting though, right? Like, he's giving back so much, and he, without even trying.
Reciprocity.
Right?
That shows you that, like, hey, the oldest thing, like, my dad would always say, God rest his soul, like, he would say, just the more you give, the more you spend, the more it comes back. Yeah. There were times that I was like, this guy's completely out of his mind. You know what I mean? Like, nothing's coming back, but it does, man. Life is long, It's beautiful.
Yeah. We can go on. That's a whole other conversation, and I believe that as well. All right, so these are things to keep your eye out for. We don't, by any means, want to give you investment advice, but I thought these things were interesting when I saw them. So Snap posts a loss, but its revenue is soaring. They seem to be innovating really well in the advertising market, so they're incorporating ads in their snaps, and people are engaging in them so much that their ad to profit ratio, is doing really well compared to their Twitter and Facebook. So their goal now is just to increase their users. I think they have 210 million users. So I don't know how many people want to join Snapchat, but that's pretty cool. I think Android, their update to Android was able to give them more users. So let's see where that goes.
Like, is it easier for these companies to acquire users by just buying a company?
I don't know.
That has the user and absorb the user. They're like, yeah, we grew bigger.
I don't know, but I know Snapchat's user base is really young, based on just ad hoc observations. I mean, most, and I can look at the data, but I'm pretty sure their user base is younger than most of the
So it's
social
growing.
media.
It could grow unless you can mature out of Snapchat. I'm not on social media, so I'm not like the best person to talk about this, even though I'm a financial advisor, wealth manager. Like that's what I did for a long time, evaluating these companies top down, top up. I just, stock market, if you look at the company, if you believe in it, you believe in the management and feel like it has some defensibility, is huge now, I feel like, because there's so much competition and so many different things could come. If there's defensibility, you'll be able to stay in the market long enough, you'll get your 10%, 15%. Though, that to me was never interesting, ever. And I did that for a long time. I was never, they're just buying, that's nominal. They're just number, like it doesn't, it was never it was never inspiring. I never cared like what, guessing right was better than betting in a company that I had very little control over. It's like betting on a football team.
Well, you're just kind of looking at it and saying, there's
the overall
always
market. Hey, we're all grown. These young kids, will they continue? Can Snap provide a loyalty, some sort of loyalty feature that'll keep these guys, and some sort of tractability that'll make it sticky, for the traction to be sticky, and it stays, and they continue growing? It's a great investment.
Yeah. And it's still very private. I like that about Snapchat, that you're able to, control the amount of privacy on the app. Like, it'll tell you when the other person takes a screenshot. It'll tell you, the messages
It looks out
disappear.
for the user.
So it
as
does,
opposed to the person advertising with them.
yeah, and it does give,
Is that what it does? What happens when somebody's paying you and the user doesn't pay you? If somebody's paying you for advertising, where's the loyalty go?
well, it's based
Because
on
the user
engagement.
can bounce, so could the ad person.
Yeah.
They can leave. So it's interesting. We'll see. I feel like there is many moving parts in the stock market. Also, by the way, is not just about this company's, like all of a sudden having all this revenue. Maybe they have another bad month, bad quarter, and thought they weren't gonna. I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on. Especially because they're like
the stock
keeping
hasn't
it
moved,
private.
but it's just something to look out.
What do you think
If
is going to
revenue's
happen to the
growing,
stock when they
Something to look out for.
a
next
little
quarter.
bit more of a recession kicks in? Would it be a good investment then?
Well, we
just
don't
keep
know.
a-
There's no indicator for recession yet, so let's.
You're basically
let's
saying
not move
put it
there.
in your stocks thing, add it to your
No,
stocks.
I'm just saying think about it. Look at
Keep
it.
an eye out.
Keep an eye out. Just with the next app, I think Uber and Lyft are both increasing their prices slowly. So I think this Lyft expects profitability by late 2021 out of Laguna Beach. They're out of Laguna Beach. I didn't know that. But
Right down the street.
yeah, so they're expected to have 3.47 billion in projected revenue in 2019. So they think they'll finally be profitable in 2021, and let's see what happens with that.
Maybe.
as well.
Hopefully there won't be an app.
I think
Like-
it's all about the next move for them. It's all about the pivot. So imagine how profitable these guys are going to be with autonomous vehicles. It's going to be insane. They don't have to pay for their overhead. All this 1099 contracting that everybody's suing Uber for contracting.
What's interesting is like that could actually. There's so many unknowns as well. Yeah, that's the plan. But you know what they say? God laughs when you're there making plans. So 2021
plans
seems
and
in
God
this
laughs,
world.
so.
Yeah, you make plans. God laughs. It's like, all right,
Yeah.
keep your plan.
Yeah, I think that's it.
So I think
That's a long time. too.
2021 seems a little bit
Yeah.
like watch the stock for sure.
Yeah, just things to look out for. I think that will do it for Stream Episode 4. We'll be doing the weekly show with our archived business and finance articles. We will be doing our weekly wins here at Forkaya. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We don't know if you're watching if you don't subscribe. And we'll let you know any updates. As always, more information in our bio. Thank you very much. See you next week.